Things might get weird.
Yeah.
Welcome to our life.
Hello, everybody. We're really mixing it up today. We'll do a little post on our Instagrams.
Do you see us on YouTube?
Yeah, check us out.
Sponsored by Dutch Bros.
Yeah, they're not actually, but we wouldn't mind it.
Could they do that?
Cheers.
We can't both drink at the same time.
Yep, that's awkward. Sorry for you eating
silence.
in your ears. The Dutch Bros and Spanish Fork opened up, and we had to do a Costco run for the meats and things.
Meat.
You actually did. Anyway, we got some good stuff today.
Yeah.
We kind of got off of our little cooking and meal prep.
Yes.
But I like to cook a ton of steaks and deliciousness, and then I can meal prep for the week. It's actually quite nice. Then I don't eat as much like a little piggy.
Yeah.
During the week,
Well, you just have all your protein already made. And then you can eat your protein and add whatever you want with it.
Yep. I'm really feeling the desire to meal prep after Friday night.
Why?
I went off the deep end. I ordered $100 worth of pizza and wings from Marco's Pizza. They were good.
Well, like when each additional extra cheese that you added.
I added every single cheese they offered and then said extra. So there was no lack of cheese with it.
Not even a little bit.
Feta, cheddar, whatever, Parmesan. One of the pizzas was supposed to be thin crust. It didn't make it thin crust, but, it got
probably
DoorDashed.
would have been better thin crust, actually.
And then I made
I think you're onto something.
I made Ghirardelli double chocolate brownies.
From scratch.
Yep, I joke and call it from scratch, but it's from the bag.
One time, the story goes.
It was a joke.
What? No.
It actually was. I know what from scratch is. Do you think I'm freaking that silly?
You didn't until I told you. We were at your father's house.
I was joking.
Scratch.
My brownie is from scratch.
Let me tell the story.
I've lived in Argentina where they actually made food from scratch.
You said,
one of my favorite people
made. What's from scratch then? And I said,
where you take the flour.
When you get actual flour. And
don't
the cocoa.
Make no mistake, I am.
And the eggs.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Make fun of me. Go ahead.
I was trying to tell a story.
Well,
it was a good story.
I said from scratch, and then it's like, that was from scratch. You did this. You got to make
One time we went to like a family event, and he had gotten, Ghirardelli.
Is it Ghirardelli or Ghirardelli?
Ghirardelli.
I call it Ghirardelli.
Somebody.
Tell us what it is.
Look it up.
Don't listen to us. Anyway, I made it, and I used coconut oil instead of butter or anything. And Jess doesn't like it as much, but the kids freaking love it. It makes them nice and soft.
Yeah. But it's coconut.
Makes me feel a little less guilty and I don't love coconut. I'll
you
eat coconut shrimp.
Let me tell the story.
Nobody wants to hear it, actually. Ow, I don't like
the best thing about the way that this arrangement is.
I
can touch you.
No, don't do that. Anyway, don't pull my freaking leg hairs.
This might not be a good idea.
No. You can keep your hands to yourself.
I love you.
Love you too.
I will find you.
I'll find you. All right. Did you?
Anyway, we went to a family. Okay. We went to a family dinner, and he made a batch of brownies and gets there, and they're like, "These are so good." He's like, "Thanks, I made them from scratch." And I looked at him and said, "Nope, you did it." And he's like, "Yeah, they're from scratch. I freaking put the eggs and everything in it." And I said, "That's not from scratch." Then you're like, "Well, it's from scratch," and I explained it to you. And now we tease about it. Now it's the joke that they're from scratch.
You have a booger in your nose. So go get a tissue. I'm not cutting that out, so everybody's going to hear and see it. It's actually not even like a booger. It's like just like dry skin or something, but I can see it. And I have to say something. I hate when I have like a whitehead on my face and I've gone around with it all day and then or I get in the mirror. I'm like, why didn't somebody tell me I have a freaking whitehead? Yeah, you did great. So I'm the guy that will tell you if you got stuff on your face or in your nose. I try to be that guy. And I have some friends that are really good about it. I'm like, dude, thanks. Or your breath stinks. Thanks. Ooh. Chew some gum. But yeah, we got a new setup today. We're trying our table to try to face the camera, and we're still staring at each other. So it's how we converse and what we do. But now we can see our whiteboard. We can try to stay on topic a little bit better, even though,
Obviously, we're good at it.
Yeah.
So, let's do an update, babe.
Can I tell a Florida story from person?
Oh my
personal
gosh.
experience. I cannot believe we forgot to talk about this last time.
Yes.
So I went to Tampa, Florida. We jokingly did our Florida news segments because in the beginning, because there's always something crazy in Florida. Well, I have another personal experience. I haven't been to Florida in years, and I got one for you that I through someone else experienced while I was there. Okay?
Personal through someone else.
Life is crazy, by the way. There's like this whole thing. I don't know. I ran into a good friend. He used to be a church leader. Now I feel like we kind of talked about this at lunch the other day. We had lunch
your
this week.
specific church leader when you were a youth.
When I was a youth, he was a church leader of mine. But he was younger. He's like 10 years older than us.
Yeah.
You know, so he was like in his mid-20s when I was 16 and now we're like I feel like I'm at that age now where even my parents that had me young were like the same
kind
age.
Kind of feel
just
like
about.
the same.
Yeah, I'm like
we're all in the same-ish phases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like I relate with them more than now that we have a teenager. I'm like, like if you're in your early 20s, I want to feel, in my brain, I'm 17.
Yeah.
But then I talk to him and I'm like, oh, we're different.
I said that the other day to my aunt. I was like, no. I'm the one that's supposed to be like going to the dances and doing all these things. But like I have a child that's doing all these things and hanging out with her friends. And
yeah, you want to go to dances?
It's crazy. Well, I'm just saying, no.
Live it up.
You would. You would go there.
You would go there.
All the dances that I went to were with you. So majority.
Yeah. Slutting it up in high school.
That's what I did.
That's what you got to do. Sometimes.
Anyway, so
unless you're
Florida
Maddie
story.
Jack after Gwen, then don't do that. So what's crazy is I used to do seminars and travel a whole bunch, and we lived in this friend's basement.
Yep. When we first got married.
Yep, when we were first married, and he helped me get a couple of jobs actually. And he's been working locally now. He used to be a big speaker and go out and speak at these big events, and it was a lot of travel. And anyway, he took a job from home. Well, he was testing for a new company that his brother does the marketing for out in Tampa, Florida, where I was headed. And first off, sorry, I have a cousin lives out there. I almost hit you up, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I feel bad about it, but I wasn't even in Tampa, Florida 24 hours. I flew in, had a meeting with the Home Shopping Network, HSN, and flew home. I got there Wednesday night, left Wednesday afternoon, something like that. I almost got in a car accident while I was there, too, heading to the airport. Some lady freaking cut right in front of me. Construction.
That's not the crazy story, though.
So what's kind of funny, life's just kind of funny, right? So I went to the bathroom to try to empty my bladder before our first flight out. And there's not a direct flight in unless you do a red eye to Tampa, which kind of sucks. But I ran it. I'm like, come out of the bathroom. I see him standing at the gate. And I'm like, dude, what's up, man? What are you doing? And come to find out, he's on both of my flights. He's going to the same exact place I was. Hasn't done seminars for years. I haven't done seminars for years, but he's out there testing it. And who knows? Maybe we end up doing some seminars.
Who
again.
knows?
Who even freaking knows?
Not this guy.
But not you.
I don't even know.
So we were chatting on the plane, and we're loud. And I think it's funny because the more you travel, the less I don't know. It's kind of funny how comfortable you can get on a flight, even though you haven't done it for years. But yeah. So we're just we're talking. He's a few rows behind me and we're just chatting. And some lady overheard us talking and knew we were from Utah and that I went to Lone Peak and all this stuff. Well, she was on both of our flights to Tampa as well. And she was having a hard time getting her bag down. I said, can I help you? And she said, that would be great. So I grab her bag down and she just starts chatting me up. She's like, so I used to live in Highland. I heard you guys talking. I'm like, oh my heck, yeah, cool. We're chatting. And she goes, the craziest thing just happened. My son works out here for Pfizer. And him and my daughter-in-law just moved out here. I think she said they just had a baby. And she's like, they're supposed to be here at the airport picking me up right now, but she got shot. I shit you not. She says she got shot outside. They were having lunch and a freaking random bullet went flying through. Some people had gone through and shot up a place, and 3 bullets hit 3 different people.
I thought you told me that she was pregnant.
I couldn't remember.
Maybe she was about to have the baby.
I thought she had a baby and she was coming out or was about to have the baby.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Somehow it was about.
Yeah. She's okay. She was okay. Everything was fine. I Googled the news. Totally true. Some 3 people in Tampa. This was mid-April. If someone wants to Google it, totally freaking happened.
Let's see if we can find it again.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. They're probably glad that you're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was kind of in shock, and it was probably faster for her to Uber anyway.
Yeah.
But I was going to pick up my rental car. I'm like, I guess I could have asked her for a ride. And I'm just like, oh, like, what do you say? I've never been encountered by somebody that was like, my daughter-in-law just got shot. I'm like, holy cow, lady, I'm really sorry. She was cool. I'm like, well, good thing you're going out there. And then another small world.
So then I'm sitting talking to, we had a family event, and I was over at his family's house, and I was talking to one of his cousins, Hayden's cousins, and he was telling me the story about this girl that got up and was bearing her testimony in his singles ward, and how she was talking, and she had I thought she said a sister-in-law. Maybe she said a sister. Anyway, that lives out in Florida, and she had gotten shot in crossfire.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, my heck, was she pregnant? He's like, I think she was.
Yeah. Pregnant or just had a baby.
Yeah. And anyway, I'm like, that has to be the same story.
Yeah.
Has to be.
There can't be that. Florida can't be that crazy.
Come on. Florida's crazy, but.
It just happened like.
Check our facts.
I guess it's been
last
3 weeks ago.
It was April
8th, 10th, 11th.
I don't know. Earlier April. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the crazy Florida story where Hayden had first account.
It was on the 9th. Because I flew in on the 9th and left on the 10th. Yep. Google it. It's on there. It's on there, guys.
Crazy.
So crazy. But honestly, I get why people like Florida. I get why people like it, but every time I go there, it's like God is telling me, like, limit your time here, buddy. Limit your time here. I think I've told this when I was there was the crazy. Some people have heard this and remember it, and some people haven't. But when I was in Florida, there was a freaking homeless guy that was naked. He had taken bath salts, and he was eating the face of another person.
Okay, and that's a little graphic. I think we're good.
Should we explicit this
no,
episode?
We're good. Oh, right, that it's explicit?
Yeah.
Because it was pretty graphic.
No, this is cool. These freaking stop being sissies. Zombies. This is the last days.
I can't. It makes my skin crawl. Ugh. You also watched what? What have you been watching?
Watched a
John
lot
Wick.
Of John Wick.
Literally, like every time he goes to sit down to watch a movie, hey, should we watch John Wick?
I kind of joke now,
and everybody says no.
I love John Wick. What's funny is I've seen all or most of them, and I was kind of like, these are just entertaining. But now I'm like, it's not even realistic. It's kind of fun, and it's
so graphic.
Good violence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Lots of it.
Yeah. And I like Keanu Reeves. Who doesn't like Keanu Reeves? Is there anybody? He's such a nice man, he seems like.
He's so nice. He's probably so nice.
Baba Yaga.
What?
Baba Yaga, they call him, the boogeyman.
Oh.
He is not the man that you call the boogeyman. He is who you call to kill the boogeyman.
Oh, yeah. I remember that part.
John Wick 1. Everybody go watch it. This is your homework. Go see John Wick if you haven't. It's a shoot-'em-up guy movie.
That Gwen knows that there's 4 of them?
Yeah, she straight up, I'm like, how many are there, Gwen? She's all 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm like, oh. She's 4 years old, so here we are. Yes,
maybe that's why. Hopefully.
She's watched a little John Wick in bits and pieces.
Love
Just
that.
trying to prep her for the real world.
But we saw a movie, so we didn't do movie recaps. So we did see.
Did we not talk about Monkey Man? I think I mentioned that we really liked it, and it was kind of John Wick-esque for the Indian.
We did
John
start
Wick.
there.
Yeah,
but we didn't continue on. So we saw Monkey Man. Really liked it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it had a cool message in it.
Yeah, it did.
But it was like John Wick / cool message. It was like interesting.
Hey, there's a cool message in John Wick. They killed his dog right after his wife died and beat him up.
Yeah, what the freaking crap?
So he had to go kill.
They must be in Florida.
I think I googled it. He kills between the 4 movies. I think he kills like 400 or 500 people. The first 30 minutes, like, he
how
kills
many
12.
Hours? Because they're kind of longer.
They're not long enough.
8, 10 hours within 10 hours. It's like 400 people.
Yeah,
that's cute.
Yeah, nonstop. Goodness.
But we also watched some different movies. Well, no, we watched Palm Springs.
Palm Springs was good.
What was his face? I can't remember.
Andy Samberg from Hot Rod.
That was actually really good.
And the chick that's in it is the wife that gets cheated on in Wolf of Wall Street, if anybody's watched that.
I don't know.
I won't recommend or not recommend that one. I'm going to leave that one alone. But I liked it. It's great. That's a crazy movie.
Yeah. So Palm Springs, was it on Netflix or
Hulu?
Was it Hulu?
I think so.
I don't know. You can stream it on one of those things. We liked it.
Yep.
We also
just an easy comedy, funny, lighthearted, kind of a fun movie.
Did we talk about how we did our like homestay thing?
We did, yeah.
Okay, so we did that.
We saved our marriage. With it, good job.
Whew, high five. We can actually high five without like reaching
my
through all the
left leg
things.
is falling asleep right now.
You can put it down.
But what's weird is it's the leg under my right leg.
Yeah.
Why is that? I need to stretch more.
Probably. Oh yeah. You don't stretch.
I stretch at the gym before I run.
You should yoga.
I should. I would do it.
Actually.
I know people that hot yoga. It looks intense.
I freaking hot yoga. I love hot yoga. Anyway, so we watched Palm Springs, but then in that little staycation, we looked up some other movies too. So what else did we watch?
Oh, we watched the one with Emma Stone, the Poor Things movie.
Do not recommend. 10 out of 10. Do not recommend.
It actually got better reviews than I would have given it.
That's when I was like, thinking I'm not going to like this one.
We skipped through some of it. It's a pornography.
Yeah, we skipped through a lot of that.
A lot of nudity. It's her. If you want to watch it, just know you're going to see some TNA in there.
You heard it here first.
You can Google it if you don't know what that means. My kids, you better not Google it.
Okay. So we decided the 2 thumbs down. No, we're not into that.
Thumbs down that one.
And
she's not even that hot either.
Yeah, and
no offense, Emma.
No, but she's like acting.
I know some people
like
that think you are
weird.
She's gonna hear this someday. I don't want to offend her. She's a good actress.
But then we also watched Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh, that was actually pretty good.
It was weird, but it was good.
I dug it.
Yeah, that one it's definitely gonna be you either like it or you just don't get it.
Yep. Yep. If you're not into weird movies or get in a weird mood, sometimes skip it.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I'm down for a freaking weird comedy, slash-ish, thriller-ish, funny. It's more comedy than anything, I felt like.
Yeah. Yeah.
People die in it. And people come back to life.
It's so weird.
It's cool.
Anyway, it's like weird. It's hard to explain. I'm trying to like figure out the right way to explain it, but I can't. So, recommend Palm Springs. Recommend Monkey Man. Don't recommend
Poor
Things.
Things. Highly recommend John Wick.
Lisa Frankenstein.
2 thumbs up.
We thought it was pretty good.
Yep.
But you got to be in the right mood, probably.
Got to be in the mood, as they say. You got to be in the mood.
Okay.
Don't make it weird. You in the mood right now? How you doing over there? How you doing? How you doing?
Kate, babe, talk to us about this little wormhole that you've been going down lately. If anybody doesn't know Hayden very well.
We ended the last... Oh, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
He likes to learn about things, but then when he's like, wait, that's different than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Then he likes to get on in the weeds in it.
Yeah.
So we texted our friends. We talked about it a little bit.
They agreed to come back on the podcast. They can talk a lot more educated about it than I can. And I'm going to read it and listen to a few things. And then
we ended and we said,
few weeks or month,
aliens are real.
Month or two.
Pretty much.
They're real. For sure, they're real.
And that's what summed that up. But
I believe in aliens.
But what was the lady's name? Who have you been listening to? What have you been?
So, okay, I'll give you 3 podcasts you should listen to if you want to rabbit hole this.
With Hayden.
With me.
And let him know what you think. He would love to talk to you about it.
Yep.
Okay, so he would love to talk to you about it.
I've been setting up my poor friends. Some of them just roll their eyes at me.
I don't even.
And some of them are like, we can converse about it. And Kyle and Kim are so awesome. They're like, they love the rabbit holes too, but they don't get like settled in on anything. They just, whatever resonates, I like that.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that has resonated with me. I'm like, this makes a lot more sense than the way I don't know how to explain this stuff. So there's some people that can explain it. And even then I'm like, this is weird. It's freaking batshit crazy, but
like
we get there. So this all started off like 2 weeks ago. Tucker Carlson was on the Joe Rogan podcast, which was freaking awesome. One of the best episodes I've listened to on his, and I've liked a lot of them lately.
Yeah.
But he had this episode with Tucker where they talked about aliens, and Tucker mentions that they're from here. Maybe they're interdimensional, but they're not like what we've been told or taught our whole lives. Okay. And then he has a guy on there, I think like 2 days later, they were talking about the moon landing. You can look in the descriptions. It was like the episode right after Tucker or 2 after. This is in the past couple weeks. And just for funsies, I like Andrew Schultz. He's another comedian that has a podcast. So I listen to a lot of Rogan, a lot of Andrew Schultz. I kind of pick and choose Andrew's stuff. And then I listen to a lot of Theo Vaughn, which, just quick side note, he had a therapist on talking about trauma like a week or two ago.
Oh my gosh.
It was so damn good.
We'll have to post that one. That one was really, really good.
And they even kind of talked about what I had said about like trauma has kind of become like this buzzword, but you know, I think we all have it to some degree, right? But the guy's name was Tim Fletcher.
Send that to Maddie.
April 16th. And just as a side note, I shared it with a bunch of my family and friends, and it's awesome. So I think everybody can get something out of it.
I think everybody that Hayden knows had it sent to them.
Some of us.
No, I'm just kidding. But I actually really liked that one.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
You
and it was cool.
This message?
Well, it was cool because it was almost like he was having like a therapy session with him.
Yeah.
And
Theo Vaughn's the best because he's so good about being vulnerable and being honest. And he's a little...
Wait, did you send it to me or Maddie?
Both of you.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, he just gets real on it. And Theo's life was a lot harder than mine was for sure. But it's cool to like hear him talk about the different issues. And anyway, really, really good. Probably the best podcast or any information I've ever heard on any sort of trauma ever. Like, and trauma comes in different flavors, right?
Yeah.
All sorts of different experiences. Could be big, could be small, whatever.
Yeah.
Shit we carry with us that affects us and we may not even know.
Yep.
You know, a lot of my OCD, I think, comes from some of the shit that I just, and again, I don't want to sit down here and be like, my life is so hard or kind of what Theo Vaughn says, like self-pity. I don't want to self-pity, but like, I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I do this weird thing or that weird thing or why I have a thing with numbers. I count and I don't even notice that I'm doing it. And that has made me mindful. I know this is weird. Don't judge me. Look at these judgy eyes. Look at her judgy eyes. Get on YouTube,
do these
folks.
Look like eyes that are judging?
I associate things with numbers. It's weird. I'm basically...
Raymond.
Just kidding. That's where I was going, and I am not. What's too bad is I'm real shitty at math. So here we are.
You are not. You always say that, and you're not.
I actually am really.
You're getting really good, especially now working in business.
Well, I can do business math because I can calculate it and Google it.
What other math do you need and want?
The other guy was Bart. I'm getting back to my aliens.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Ready? So. The next episode after 1 or 2 after Tucker was Bart Cybrell, 2141. And I hope Rogan brings him back on with somebody that wants to debate why we did go to the moon, because this guy made a lot of really damn good arguments that we did not make it to the moon. Holy cow. I was like, I hadn't really thought this hard about it, but this is interesting. But, and it's a little hard to, I could see it being hard for people to listen to. It takes a minute for a little bit for it to get going, but they get on the topic of aliens again. And this Bart guy basically confirms everything that Tucker Carlson was saying about aliens, how there's a spiritual element, how there's all this, I think Tucker was more saying they're like from here in the ground, in the water, whatever. And he was saying that these aliens, just so you know, the first 20 minutes are even worth listening to if you can't get through 3 hours of a podcast. And I do listen to them on higher speeds, so I'm not listening to a full 3 hours. It's like, but he confirms what Tucker was saying, and then randomly in the same week I'm listening to Andrew Schultz, and he has, I think it's Billy Carson, Billy Carson, April 24th, and you probably seen him on Instagram if your algorithm's anywhere close to mine. And he talks about like the pyramids and all the things that I don't know.
That was actually kind of interesting.
Did you listen to it?
I listened to that part at least.
Yeah.
No, wait. I listened to the whole one of that one.
The whole pyramid thing is fascinating. Is really cool. Yeah. And he goes through all this stuff and aliens and who's who. And he seems really... The only hard part I have with some of that is he kind of talks about it like it's all facts. And I want to talk about it like, hey, this is cool. This is interesting. What can we learn from this? And if they've clearly been here our entire lives and we're still okay, like... What kind, it really, not to sound kooky, But like it really does feel like there's an actual spiritual war happening, and there's a lot of people that feel shitty right now. There's kind of this heaviness that I've noticed. You can see in people's eyes. We talked about this the other day just off the podcast,
and we've talked about it on here too.
Yeah. And so I reached out to Kyle and Kim, and Kyle was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this lady?" He was asking me all these questions. I'm like, "No, I don't know that. I have the Bhagavad Gita." He asked me if I had that. Actually, that's on my next list to read. Mm-hmm. I have the physical book, but I like to listen while I read it along sometimes, so I understand it better.
Yeah,
I'm one of those guys. I have ADHD. What? and so him and Billy Carson went on this whole thing, and holy cow, they covered so much in 2 or 3 hours that was like. Freaking blew my mind. And so we're going back and forth in text with Kyle and Kim, and he sent me this lady, Gigi Young, and I've been listening to a bunch of her stuff. One of them I'm like re-listening to. And she, if I may butcher this, but essentially what she's saying, and I think she's kind of this psychic, how would you explain her? She's the energy psychic-y, she's that's what she is.
yeah.
Super into like the thing I have a hard time wrapping my head around are the whole planets. What's that called?
Oh, astrology
stuff. And there's anyway, that's a good name for it. And so I kind of get lost in that, but I think a lot of it's just because in just like any religion, I think they have their own terminology for things, and I just don't know it all. And I haven't gone down this rabbit hole before, so here I am doing it now. But her explanation for aliens, you ready for this? And I'm not saying I believe this, but it was one of the better explanations I've heard, okay? She says the aliens are fallen beings that were once like us, that found technology, that used technology to basically live forever. And a lot of them have become like parasitic. Some of them still kind of have the vibration of Christ in them. But she even mentioned like, she uses a better term, but with the technology use like different, maybe even animal DNA and different things. And because they've used all these technologies, their whole body and being has changed. And they make a pretty good argument for, now she makes it very clear that she's good with technology. Technology's great. It helps us. We're using technology today. This is great. I would agree 100%. I think there's great things that Neuralink, for example, that Elon Musk is coming out with, if they can help people heal blindness and all this stuff. But where it gets kind of interesting is if we start integrating too much with AI and with robots, we start to lose a portion of humanity, right?
Yeah.
And I think that if Satan exists and if I were the devil, that's a pretty damn good plan to go against the human race.
Yeah.
To take the humanity from you, to take it out of you and turn you into a damn robot, right?
Yeah.
And this whole AI thing is, I think we're on the verge of the way people are talking about it. I think AI is already smarter, or it will be this year, smarter than the entire human race. We have some crazy stuff going on. Tucker Carlson talks about that. How we should kill the baby in its crib is kind of how he mentions it.
AI,
like if we could go back,
AI being baby.
AI is the baby.
Okay.
And he kind of uses Hitler as the example. Like if we could go back and just kill baby Hitler and save millions of lives, that might be better than letting him kill all the Jewish people and be where they're at. So anyway, she just talks about how they're us, maybe from the past or the future or whatever, and they found a way to be here. And I don't know all the science behind it, but I was like, that is a fascinating take. And Tucker Carlson, one of the things I was going to mention is he talks about how and this Bart Sibrel guy, they're just like, the technology that we have doesn't exist, and it didn't back then. Who knows what the government has, right? Yeah. I just saw that they have some underwater drone that does some crazy stuff, and I'm seeing other crazy stuff online. Where are they getting this technology? Is it something they made? Is it something that does it come from the government, or is it a whole show, or is it a mix of both? Or again, I know how this all sounds, everybody, but are these aliens talking to freaking Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum and telling him, hey, here's the technology, we're going to give you all this technology, and you'll be able to rule 100 people will be able to rule 8 billion, essentially.
That sounds right. That sounds like what's happening.
And if you think about it, like all of us we're already half a robot with our damn phones, and being so tied into the Matrix through that, to quote Andrew Tate, who's also not a hero of mine, so we're clear. But I like that he uses, like, we're just we get so locked into the Matrix and we're so distracted that we kind of talked about this last time, but we can't let like God or our own self connect with anything because we're so distracted by so much all the time that like mindfulness is so important right now for all of us, so we can learn to listen to
our inner voice,
a higher power, have our own thoughts, help lead us and guide us and direct us, right?
Yeah, I think that's something that we like struggle hard with right now. Everybody.
Oh.
Even like my children that don't have phones, there's still an endless amount of media that can be sent to you.
Yeah.
We have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have YouTube, we have like, it just never stops. Never. You can never. I was talking to Jack the other day and I was like, I think what was different for you guys and us is we would have like TGIF on Friday nights. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So yeah, we would come and watch TGIF. It was a couple of shows of our favorite shows, the popular shows, and then new episodes, and then it's over, and then we're done, and we don't, and we go and play, right? Where now you just go to the next thing. Like you have an endless amount of those shows.
Yeah.
All the time. You will never run out of something to watch that's new.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that. If we wanted to watch a new movie, we would have to go get it at Blockbuster. Or if we wanted to, you know what I mean?
Give. Yep. What I wouldn't give to
like that was a Friday night, is that we would either watch TGIF or we would go to Blockbuster and get a movie. But like it was this long.
Yep.
And we were done.
Right.
They don't have that. Mm-mm. It's crazy.
Tucker was saying that before I forget to mention this part.
Sorry, keep going.
He was saying that they're seeing these underwater spaceships, essentially these underwater ships. They're going like 580 or 70 knots. And I looked it up. They're going like 500 miles an hour under the water. He's like, we don't have that tech. Like and the ocean, they say, is less explored than outer space.
Than space. Well,
that's freaking kind of nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Bruh. Think about that for a minute. Mic drop.
Oh, don't drop it.
All right.
Wait, kind of listening to all of this.
Yeah.
And listening to that lady. It made me just sit back and go again. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know. The only thing that we know is what we have been told and what our ancestors have told us and the information that we have been given. And even when we were watching Monkey Man, I sat there and watched it, and his mom he gets flashbacks all the time in it of his mom and their religion and how she would teach him about God and her version of God the whole time. And it made me think, oh, like he only knows what his mom taught him.
Yeah.
And that's where he gets his like love of God and belief. Well, that's not the God that I necessarily was taught about, but that's where I got my love of God and belief is from what I've been taught. But I think I think they're both beautiful. I think that it's hard for me sometimes that's why it's hard for me to say that there's any one right way for all. Because I feel like we're all just taking what we've learned and trying our best with it, with the information we've learned.
So I sent that another video of this Gigi Young to Johnny.
Okay.
I'm going to read you a quote that he sent me by Albert Einstein. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. All these aspirations are directed toward ennobling man's life, lifting it from the sphere of mere physical existence and leading the individual towards freedom. I think that you have different people in different parts of the world and cultures and everything, but they've always had a higher power and a God and someone that they look to. And Tucker kind of makes this argument that after we created the nuclear bomb, shortly after that, it was like we kind of felt like we became God, and then you started seeing and I think there's always been this fight, this spiritual thing, right? But that after that, there was, we are God, and we can control, and through technology and war and all this stuff, like who... Why are you looking at me confused?
We are God?
Well, because we created the nuclear bomb and we have all this technology, it's almost like we started to lose God.
We're playing God?
We're playing God.
Got
yes,
it. I'm like, sorry. We are God?
We're playing God. Exactly. That's actually exactly what a lot of these people are saying. Like, we, and just to make it light too, there are good beings and good creatures that aren't darkness all the time. Yeah. And I think we feel that too, right? So at least, you know.
Well, and I think that's why it's important for us to, come along with us.
Come along.
Well, Hayden this morning plays me this music. What was this music this morning?
I'm not talking about that.
And I was like, oh, I thought that I was the hippie one.
Yeah.
Get the bongo drums.
Some lady saying it was dope.
It was awesome. Anyway, crap. Oh, sorry.
There's goodness.
Oh, yeah. I think that's why it is important for us to be able to be still so that we can decipher. And because we are so bombarded with set information, constant information.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I've talked about this 1.5 million times, but it's like you need to be able to listen to your inner voice. And we cannot do that if we're just constantly being fed information.
Indeed.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah. Like even, I was even thinking, I'll do my meditations, and I get on and I do the guided meditations because I don't really know how to meditate without that. And then I was like, wait, even those are telling me what to think, you know?
Yeah.
And it's guided, which is great because then I'll usually try and choose one that's about something that is relevant to me, you know?
Yeah.
Because we use the Calm app, and it just posts, it has like 3 or 4 options. I've been really bad at that for
months now. I need to start doing something like that more.
Yeah, each day it changes up a couple options of what you might want to focus your meditation on, which I think is great because then you can choose. But still, I'm like, but then even then, I'm doing quiet time.
Yeah.
And you're telling me a topic to focus on instead of just me going and be quiet and present and listening.
Yeah, we've got to learn to be uncomfortable and sit in the uncomfortableness.
I hate being
right?
uncomfortable.
I know.
I think that's been my biggest issue lately, is I just am done being uncomfortable. Like I've gone through a lot of uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be uncomfortable. And I think that gets us into like these lazy habits and, you know, we eat the comfort food and exercising makes us uncomfortable. And so we don't want to do that. Or we only want to do the things that I know.
Look how cool I am.
Well, Kate.
I'm
your
just kidding.
cousin.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Your cousin again. Cute little Connor.
Sounded like the biggest egotistical douche. Sorry. Continue.
No,
I did. I went for a little run today.
So sweet.
So sweet.
Connor is the best.
This is good.
I was talking to him, and he was talking to me. So he went to Ghana on his mission.
Yeah.
And he comes back, and he's like this little cute rail. He has like no ounce of fat on his body. He is very disciplined. He understands things on a different level than most kids and most adults, I would even say. But he came home from his mission to Utah. So he went from like, it's so hot, doesn't have any meat on his bones, coming home to Utah, and is just freezing. The poor guy is freezing. And now it's
he got back
popular.
In the winter time.
Yeah, and it's popular for you know, right now to do cold plunges. So he's like, okay, well, let's do the cold plunges. And then he's working out. They have a garage that they work out in, and he's out there doing that. And he was like literally, and he was taking cold showers, he tells me. And he's literally not warming up to the point where he gets frostbite on his feet. Literally frostbite. They're like nerve damage happening. He's going to all these doctors to figure it out. Well, I'd say, okay, so like, then we stop cold plunging. He's like, well, I went to the neurologist and he said if I use these socks, I can still do the cold plunges. He's like, I stopped doing the cold shower, but I wear these specific socks so I can cold plunge. And I said, okay, so what is this cold plunge doing for you that you like love it so much that you have frostbite? You medically have a reason to say, peace, I'm not doing this. This is not good for me. I'm like, what is it? And he's like, it's hard.
I hate it so bad.
I hate it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I hate every second of it. And I said,
Yeet.
so that's why you're doing it. He's like, yep, because there's something about it. And he's like, I go outside and he's like, you know what workout I hate the most? And I said, what? He's like, the steps. He's like, I'll set, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes or whatever at whatever rate he's doing it. I haven't done the steps for a long time. I don't know how it's measured. But he's like, I'll do it. And he's like, I physically thought I'm going to fall off this thing, but my time's not up. So I just keep going. He's like, I hate it so much, but that's why I do it.
Yeah.
He's like, doing the things that you hate. He's like, that's going to get you further. And I was all, oh.
The harder stuff we do, the easier hard stuff becomes, and the easy tasks
21.
in our day are
like
nothing. He's killing it. Good job, buddy.
He's so awesome. And I was dying when he was telling me all these things. I was just like, you just get it. He was even saying, I don't know this, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, there's something in the brain. He's like, you will live longer for some chemical reason if you are doing hard things. If you're doing things that are challenging you.
Well, look at the people that retire and they die like a year or two later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we have to have something that keeps us going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I think that we talked about that even just earlier today, that being stationary is the killer. Even if we're just moving around, going on a little walk, or but sitting and not moving and not progressing. Yeah.
Yep.
It'll get you.
We had so Maddie's helping with our social medias.
Oh yeah.
And helping us with stuff. So we're gonna like, share, subscribe. She gets little bonuses if she needs a job. So again, if anybody, so this is her job for now. Too. So she gets little bonuses if we get a certain amount of followers, and she's just gonna work on posting, and it gives her a chance to learn it, and she may want to do hair someday or do her own little business. She kind of has a little entrepreneurial spirit.
She does. I think she would do well with that.
So she could learn how to do it for herself. But also what's interesting is because we spend so much time on our phones and she's got homework, and we are working on setting a calendar. We had some deep discussions this week and hard discussions, but I think they were good for everybody.
Yeah.
On just learning how to focus. And one of the comments she made to me, I hope it's okay to share, Maddie. Sure love you. Was she was working on her homework, and then she was doing like a post for us, and she was kind of all over the place. And so when she comes from you get home from school, and then because we're just on the computer working on 10 different things at one time instead of just knocking out one task at a time. And it's because she was getting bored. And I said, hey, it's okay to get bored.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the good things about growing up when we did, I think, is because we were like one of the last generations to ever be bored. Right?
Again, back to, we have endless amounts of entertainment.
Yeah. Ride in the car, and you just sat there, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're like me, you couldn't play the Game Boy once they came out because you would get sick and want to throw up.
I know
you couldn't read in the car if you're me.
Yeah, I know. So I would have books that I would want to read, and I'm like, can't do it.
My imagination was freaking dope, dude. I had the best imagination ever.
You still do.
Yeah, aliens. Check it out.
Yeah, aliens.
And so I said, dude, it's okay to be bored, and you'll feel more accomplished. So we're working through that. If anybody else has teenager advice, let us know. We are kind of winging this.
Oh, yeah.
Mofo, but it's so just the
We're
best.
killing it.
Are we?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an interesting week or two.
Good.
But been good. Yeah, it has been good. It is nonstop. Yesterday you went to a bridal shower, and then I met up with you for your mom's birthday party. And
oh my gosh, guys, that was so fun.
The picture I posted yesterday on our stories was the children sleeping in my car.
Yeah.
Gwen fell asleep to the birthday party and on the way home.
But then, of course, she doesn't want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Your cousin actually posted a thing and said, why does nobody talk about the phase of motherhood where your kid, did you see it?
I don't know.
Like, where your kids are in that toddler phase where they cannot have a nap. Otherwise, they're going to not fall asleep until 10 o'clock at night. But they kind of need a nap.
Yep.
But
we're there.
If you get in the car anytime after like 5 o'clock, they're going to fall asleep. And then you're still, even if it's 15 minutes, they're still not going to fall asleep until 10 o'clock. Like they need the nap, but they don't, or you don't want them to have it. But yeah, and I was like, yeah, that's us. And then they turn into like the devil after 5:30 if they haven't had the nap. And so you're just like,
it is like pure joy. Our house is pure joy.
I was like, oh yeah, you, we're same.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have friends that are our age too that have children's, because then it's like, I feel normal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
F&A Cotton.
You know what though?
You.
Even I was talking to some of my aunts, and they were making some comments that I was like, "You too, huh? You too? Even back then,
I'm not alone."
And it was stuff that they went through when they were, when they had all their kids at home stuff too. I was like, "Oh."
And they had so many kids back then.
Oh my gosh, and all their kids are amazing. So.
Are they though? I mean,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I love them so much.
Duh. Yeah.
So anyway, we all go through it. We all have the phase. We'll figure it out.
This has been one hell of a phase, dude. It has been going for a while.
I think sometimes that you worry about all the little things too much, though. I think we just need to be able to go with the flow.
Get in that Zen state.
Just be like, okay, whatever happens. It doesn't have to be so. That was rigid. That was the noise for rigid. Everything has to go just so.
I just want it to be perfect. No, I get it. I know it's hard.
So.
And fun and crazy and sad and dramatic.
So fun. Yesterday was a lot, but I loved it. It was so fun to be amongst those people.
We didn't even do date night last night.
Did I? Oh.
Because we were both so tired.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll take
I know. I sat down. I always want to do date night.
We did date morning.
We did. But I got home and I was like, I told Maddie, I'm like, I really want to do date night, but I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And I get home and Hayden's sitting there and he's like, we don't have to. And I'm all, are you sure? I'm so tired.
I think I fell asleep by 9:15 last night.
You fell asleep so fast.
I got a great night's sleep, other than Gwen turning on our light at 1 o'clock in the morning because she couldn't
see us.
That's why I
wear an eye mask.
Her room's across the hall from ours, and she wants our door open, and she couldn't see into our room. She's like, I can't see. And at first I'm like, what is wrong? It's 1 in the morning. You can't see. It's dark. It is dark in here. And so she just wanted our door open, I think. And then 2 hours later, she came and got in our bed and slept in there for 3 hours, which is abnormal. It's not normal.
You know what, though?
But I had to wake up. I was awake at 6 this morning, and I'm like, Jess, you got to scoot over. I was sideways, just stiff as a board. I'm like, I got.
And then you got up 5 minutes later.
Well, I got up, and then I actually put her back in her bed and laid down for another 30, 45 minutes. Yeah,
I tried to scooch all the way over, and then all of a sudden you were up, and I'm all, do I move back? What do we do here?
The one morning I had in the week to freaking sleep in, and the damn kids.
You're winning. Listen, you're winning. Are you ready?
I love you kids so much.
Last time you were like, I need to get one of them to like me more. Gwen did not come to me last night.
Yeah, that's true.
She came to you.
Well, it's because I reacted. The freaking light turned on. I was like, what the hell? What the hell is going on?
This is why I wear the eye mask. It's not just for you. It's for everybody else, too.
Yeah, Jess gets mad if she sees light during the night. She will yell at you. She'll swear probably at you if you turn on the light.
Probably. Yeah. It might be a thing.
It'll ruin your day if she...
Your day.
She'll yell at you.
If I get mad at you.
I'm a morning person.
Oh, there's nothing like being woken up. Flashes of lights in your face.
You are full of it today.
Of
sound effects.
Sound effects, that's the word. All right. Yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, she came to you, so winning. You're welcome. I'm really actually grateful for it.
Our kids are so cute.
I love them.
Anyway, I was going to talk more, but we can wait. We'll wait till...
For what?
For the times to be appropriate to talk about things.
Aliens? You want to talk more about
that
aliens?
Is where this is about today.
Okay.
All right. Well, is that good today?
Love you.
I love you most.